Is the Woodlands conservative or moderate? If you're thinking about moving to the Woodlands or anywhere in Montgomery County, there's a question that comes up constantly. And sometimes people ask it quietly, and sometimes they ask it directly. What is the political culture there? Is Montgomery County conservative? Is it moderate? Would someone with different views feel comfortable living here? Today we are going to talk about that in a balanced and honest way, including the positives, the challenges, and what people relocating here should realistically expect. And there are actually a few surprises that many people don't realize about this area. Now let's talk about something many relocation buyers want to understand before they move here: Montgomery County's reputation. Montgomery County has developed a reputation across Texas as being politically conservative. If you look at recent election data, Republican candidates often receive 65 to 75% of the vote in county-wide elections. So statistically speaking, it does lean conservative. But here's something important many people don't realize. Election statistics don't always reflect everyday culture. Daily life in Montgomery County usually revolves around things like families and schools and outdoor activities and community events and local businesses, church or volunteer groups. Most conversations you hear in neighborhoods are about kids' sporting schedules, new restaurants opening, local school events, or what's happening around the Woodlands waterway. Politics absolutely exist here, but for most people, it's not the center of everyday life. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about why many newcomers are actually surprised by that. Here's why many conservatives are really drawn to Montgomery County. For people with more conservative political views, Montgomery County often feels like a very comfortable place to live. There are several reasons why. One is Texas tax structure. Texas does not have a state income tax. That's a huge factor for many people relocating from states like California and Illinois and New Jersey or maybe New York. While Texas does rely more on property taxes, many people moving here still see a significant financial advantage. And the Woodlands has a strong business environment. Montgomery County and the Woodlands area are known for being business friendly. The Woodlands in particular has attracted major energy companies, medical institutions, and corporate offices, and many entrepreneurs. That environment has helped create a strong job growth and economic opportunity. Now, the Woodlands has a culture of independence and personal freedom. Many residents appreciate the sense of independence and self-determination that Texas is known for. You'll hear people talk about personal responsibility, entrepreneurship, and limited regulation. For some residents, those values are part of why they chose to move here. But here's where the story becomes a little more interesting, because not everyone who lives here fits neatly into one political category. Here's what most moderates and independents often experience. Many residents in Montgomery County actually describe themselves as moderates or politically mixed. You'll hear people say things like, "I'm fiscally conservative but socially moderate," or "I vote differently depending on the issue." As the population of the area grows, the community becomes increasingly diverse in terms of viewpoints. Many people here come from California, Colorado, Washington, Illinois, Florida, and across Texas. And with that growth comes a wider range of perspectives. Many newcomers find that while local leadership may lean conservative, the actual community is more politically mixed than the reputation suggests. You might live next door to someone who votes very differently than you do, and you never know it. Because most neighbors are focused on something else entirely. They are focused on community. Now let's talk about what people moving from more liberal areas notice. People relocating from cities like Seattle and San Francisco or Austin sometimes ask, "Will I feel out of place here?" The honest answer is usually not, but you might notice cultural differences at first. For example, Faith communities tend to play a larger role in local life here. Church involvement is very common, and many churches are deeply connected to the community service and volunteer work. School discussions and local elections may also receive more attention from residents than they do in some larger cities. However, what many newcomers quickly discover is that people here tend to prioritize being good neighbors over political agreement. You'll see people with very different viewpoints coaching youth sports together, serving on PTA boards, supporting local charities, and helping neighbors during storms. That shared community focus often overrides political differences in everyday life. The Woodlands itself is often considered somewhat more politically mixed than some surrounding parts of Montgomery County. Part of that is due to the demographics. The Woodlands attracts corporate executives, medical professionals, engineers, entrepreneurs, retirees, and young families relocating from across the country. Because of that, the population includes people with a wide variety of perspectives. But the culture of the Woodlands is largely built around something else entirely, and that is quality of life. People move here for the schools, the master plan design, the safety, the parks, the trails, the healthcare access, and strong property values. And those factors tend to bring people together regardless of political identity. Now, what residents across the spectrum appreciate, interestingly, people with very different political views often end up agreeing on many of the same things about the area. For example, the Woodlands has over 220 miles of hike and bike trails. There are parks throughout every village. The Woodlands Medical Center is one of the largest healthcare hubs north of Houston, and the community design, preserving trees and green spaces, is something residents across the board tend to value. Now, many residents say that once they settle in, the lifestyle benefits outweigh political differences, especially for families and retirees looking for stability and quality of life. There are some real challenges people mention, and to keep this conversation balanced, it's also important to acknowledge some of the concerns people sometimes raise. One of the biggest is rapid growth. Montgomery County is one of the fastest growing counties in Texas. That growth brings positives: jobs, restaurants, new businesses, but it creates challenges like traffic and development debates and infrastructure demands. Another topic that occasionally creates strong opinions is local elections, particularly around school boards and the county leadership. During election seasons, community discussions can become more visible or intense, but outside of those cycles, most residents say daily life quickly returns to normal. So, is Montgomery County conservative or moderate? The data shows that the county generally votes conservative, but the day-to-day culture is more complex than that simple label. It's a growing community filled with people from across the country with many different viewpoints. And most residents find neighbors care far more about community, schools, family, and quality of life than political labels. That's one of the reasons so many people continue moving to the Woodlands every year. My name is Cheryl Vecchio with the Vecchio Group at eXp Realty, and on this channel we talk about what it's really like living in the Woodlands and the surrounding communities like Tomball, Magnolia, and Conroe. A lot of our viewers are people relocating from other states, so we cover everything from neighborhoods and housing to lifestyle and community culture. If you're thinking about moving to the Woodlands or anywhere in Montgomery County and want honest information about the area, feel free to reach out. My contact information is in the description below, and you can click on the calendar link to schedule a meeting or a time for us to chat. If you want more videos about neighborhoods, cost of living, retirement options, and what it's like to live here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.